Welcome back. We're here to do the twin flame update. Yes, I'm live again. Surprise, surprise. Due to the heavy schedule, how are we all doing? Okay, so I pulled the rune cast. We're pulling the cards. We're going to see what is coming up for the joint connection in the twin flame path. I may go into some energy updates to give you a heads up as to what is energetically happening to the feminine and the masculine, especially pertaining to the astrology. This is one of those portals that we're revisiting our value systems. It can be a difficult emotional time, especially hi, Shazza, especially because we are going through a change emotionally internally. And I really had a chat this morning, especially for the in the dark um, super chats. We covered the astrology to a degree, had a look at the different transits and how it's impacting the feminine energy, how it's impacting a masculine, especially through your ascension process, how it directly can be impacting you. If you do want to see that video, you can jump into the members. And it does in the introduction of it, even though it wasn't in the Dark Tarot, we did do a mini update at the very beginning of it. Anywho, let's have a look at what is coming through for the joint connection and how we can best navigate these situations. Um, Especially for those of you, if you haven't had any communication, I do really firmly believe with the North Node moving into Aries, we are going to get some changes happening within the connection. Also, because Venus is in its retrograde, we're in that shadow phase. We're seeing a lot to do with feminines in the media. They can be good and bad reasons. There's also a time that you do need to protect your safety more so, especially if you're going and doing anything that's fun. Venus can be the things that we do as fun. So it could be going to, an action park. It could be going out to dinner with the girls. It's really paying attention to your safety and your wellness because it can be one of those times that things do go a bit awry because we're not all built from the same compass, and it can be where cuckoos come out. Let's just put it that way. Why could that be so? Potentially because we do have Neptune in Pisces, and we also do have Saturn in Pisces. So, really taking accountability of your safety at this point will be highly advised until September, October. Now, how can we best navigate this? Because could this be a time when we are really looking at our friendship groups, our money, how we gel, in our twin flame path? Yes, it can be. Well, that was interesting. It can be. It can also be a time where we directly are looking at it and saying, hey, are we being rational? Are we on the right path right now? How can we change this circumstance? And I always say, unless that person is directly in front of you, you can't really answer that question. From an internal mechanism, you can, within the energetic field, both in the 5D and 4D, you can be mulling over some circumstances and it can bring nostalgia up. We do have the new moon coming up, which is going to cause some difficulty, especially from an emotional point of view. Cancer, the zodiac is very intuitive, but it can be mother, it can be with females, there can be a bit of a competitive spirit. We also can feel as though we do have too much on our plate, that we are really needing to, wanting to just go into hermit mode, wanting to just really rest and recover, maybe wanting to get your house in order, looking at where you feel safe. Some of us also are being challenged, especially in our own paths as well as feminines, to step outside the box and to have the confidence to try different things. I do particularly feel that divine feminine is going to start coming through quite assertive. That doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. There is a difference between being assertive and what would the word be? I'm being careful. I'm not mincing my words by any means. Look, egotistically so, if we were coming to a point where we were being domineering, that's not being assertive. If we're making blank-handed statements, this is what I will and won't put up with, that's being assertive. So there's a difference depending on how the things are actually triggering you. Let's see what's happening. Oh, a lot of communication energy coming through for them. Divine feminine. So some of you could be seeing five. Some of you are also getting signs and synchronicities maybe coming through in the animal totems, and I will guide you to very much use those to see, number one, how it directly relates to you in your own side of the fence. It could be a direct situation that you're trying to address. and then your twin flame path, okay? So never just outrule. That's a definite. That's interesting. Never outrule the fact that something on your side of the fence can be transforming the direct connection. I do see a lot to do with Phoenix crossing, especially for feminine. There's a lot of old and new that we're integrating. There's a lot of looking at, okay, well, how will we get from A to B? That can be within the joint connection as well. Yeah. Grounding energy says it all. Divine feminine, please. This card for the grounding energy of divine feminine this week. Yep. This card for divine masculine, please. It's interesting. They've got things they want to say, but they don't quite know how to articulate it. And I don't necessarily feel that's a bad thing. You know, a lot of coaching, a lot of things that I had with work colleagues and things to that degree, it was all to do with the divine masculine really trying to find the words. And again, you know, because we are balanced in the yin and yang, on the emotive, the emotion and the feeling side of things, empaths generally do know how to articulate what is going on. Whereas some masculines, and I would never blanket statement state all masculines do this. That's not so. We do have the spirit of air coming through for divine masculines in reverse, and it's things that they haven't said yet. It's trying to find the correct words. It's trying to find the direct actions and the correct actions that they feel is actually going to bring things to a head for them. They are very firmly thinking of the relationship, but there's something in their aura at the moment where they're feeling they're not really finding the right words, they're not really finding the right actions, and that they don't really know how to articulate what is going on in their life. But we will dig deeper into that. Divine feminine as the crowning energy has medicine bag in reverse. Now, this is pretty interesting because we can be this week, especially moving through this month, we particularly can get to a space that we are being very critical on ourselves. Now, it may not necessarily come through that way right away. Um, as it does transition, there is a very distinct possibility. This can be because we have placements in Virgo coming up. We have the nodes, which is going to be Aries from the 12th of May. So, you know, especially because we have Venus retrograde, we have the North Node shift, the South Node's movement to Libra. There's going to be a lot of feminines that are going to be very, okay, am I on the right path? Am I attractive enough? Am I lovable enough? And we can really be casting a critical eye on the things that we value, on the way we value ourselves. The moon also can really amplify that, making us a little bit sensitive. Your first card off the bat relating to the twin flame path is the Five of Wands. And, you know, these can be the things that we feel if you almost feel like you're trying to get yourself out of that funk, you're trying to shake off the cobwebs and get yourself back to business. But there's something that's feeling like really overwhelming, a little bit difficult, and maybe something that comes and goes. How do I explain it? It sort of feels to me psychically that you do feel you have gone through a lot. You do feel you're coming out of the tunnel. But at the same point, when it does relate to the direct twin flame path, you feel there's this battle, and you're kind of like, you know, why are we battling? Why is this so hard? Why is there a difficulty? Um, this also can be from an energetic point of view that you're tuning into a situation that time masculine's going through, and it's kind of bugging me. Um, yeah, it's kind of bugging you. You could be looking at it and going, "Gee, you know, why can't you just be transparent with me?" I think the best way to really navigate it is by looking at your own awakening, and I think that can really aid you in not personalising it as you're observing an ascension process, because you can really get quite frustrated. Uh, you could also feel that you're being pulled in multiple directions at this point, but we'll come back to divine feminine knowledge of the channeled messages. Now, the joint connection, both parties here are trying to get back on track. The thing is, we might have had too much of a good thing, which most twins are going to say that's not true. But it's been this, you know, how do we get to that celebration? How do we get to that socialization? How do we get to that happy ending, so to speak? The ruin cast that we have, which I will dig into at the moment in a minute, um, it's almost like the first thing I always get with this room cast is X marks the spot. So I do feel directly spiritually both parties in the mix to try to get back on track, get back to where they both can meet in the middle, they both can see eye to eye, but they has been a bit of a conundrum at the moment. There's been a bit of a hold up with one individual in the mix actually catching up and grasping what was required of this journey. I do feel both parties do really value each other. I don't think that's the issue. I do feel there's been some external situations that have caused a lot of grief. And again, I just keep saying the fives. So the fives really this week is about large changes that we're making, the uncertainty of what those changes are going to mean, and if it's going to cause turbulence or instability with that path moving forward. Now, I'll read the drawing past and I'll get into the channel messages in the joint connection. So the drawing past for the week. Oh, goodness, okay. Deity Odin, tree, ash, or elm, element fire. Yes, both masculine and feminine are moving into that Mars energy. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It's almost like it's the place of self. It's where, there's no I in tone, but there's definitely no tone without the I. So I feel spiritually divine feminine is getting to a space where they're thinking, okay, what do I actually want today? Not what I wanted yesterday, what the dream was. Where do I stand in the mix of the stream at this point in time? Is it very relevant to me? How much have I grown? What do I need to leave behind? What can I take with me? Now, it means gift, and it is part of the spiritual essential, I firmly believe. Um, and it's about you know, having having a person want to be with you through choice over owning something. But it's also because of your ascension, the responsibility inherently that comes with it, because you're open and you're wise and you're dealing with it more from a non-codependent point of view. There is a potential this month that we can have some codependency that comes up, especially in karmic relationships. Those particular relationships can start to really feel that tension and that pinch. And even those that are in direct communication, there is also a possibility where you could be butting heads this week. With communication, if you just step back for a moment, use the traffic light analogy, red, you heated, stop. Green, go into the heart space. Okay, what do you want to create from this? And the yellow, sorry, and then the green proceeds. So that's probably the best way to actually address it, because there could be some misunderstandings. So nothing is for nothing. Many of you can be thinking, hey, when am I getting my gift within this twin flame path? When is this celebration going to be? When can I receive this from the rune cast stating in the joint connection? Nothing is for nothing. Mundane, gift, opportunity, partnership, love match, sacrifice, obligation. Esoteric, karmic union, divine revelation. There was a wonderful positive broadcast promising positive changes, connections, and interactions, and fair play on all levels. On an esoteric divinational level, this broadcast suggests that the quadrant has been or will be offered a gift from the gods. This may take the form of wisdom or insight or an opportunity. The quadrant is warned, however, to take responsibility inherently in accepting such gifts. Nothing comes from nothing. So it's almost like when you are woke, you need. Sometimes we say to ourselves, "It's like I wish I could become unwoke." It's mainly because you know the responsibility of it. It's like you have the wisdom, you have the um, self awareness. And so when you're looking at something, you do have empathy, and you are being realistic to do with it. But we also can be seeing some shadow work that can come up. But I also feel this is going to really benefit you. So whatever you have learned, it's going to benefit you in your twin flame path and how to navigate this situation. So like I said, if you have been thinking to yourself, I've gone on this journey all this long, it's for nothing. Your guides are really coming through this week and saying, absolutely incorrect. It's not for nothing. Okay, acknowledge both the giver and the given. So we do have a part in it, and yes, you do have power. It warns against taking gifts and relationships for granted. At worst, it foreshadows theft or betrayal. Okay, healthy give and take and healthy boundaries. And I do feel the joint connection is having a revelation to do with this. Now, what do we got in the cards? I do think a blessing from the past and a dream is being revisited. I do feel it's going to require you to have the courage to actually move forward, and this is both in the joint connection. This is both masculine and feminine, because you do have stuff from the past, which to me is shown as a blessing that you were hoping for in the past. success and outcome, it is coming back to you. Something is coming back to you. It's definitely within the joint connection. It's gonna be like a leap of faith. There is some risk involved, though. The full card being a 0 really is almost like a, tower, and then we have the full card, we're leaping forward, and there's multiple ways it can go, and I think spiritually it's really saying, anyone can hurt us, be it it's twin, be it it's karmic, be it it's a soulmate, they can. But courage, absolutely, with all these Leo transits, is directly gonna be required, and I think that's quite positive. It's quite a positive omen that it's showing here that there is gonna be a new beginning relating to the past. Okay, I do also feel a lot of you are gonna be more realistic, especially if your twin is in a karmic relationship and they're going through a separation. I think you're really looking at that and you're saying, "Okay, let's be honest, this was my wish in the past. I'm trying to take a leap of faith forward. I realise whatever the situation is that they're going through, will come to an end, and especially during Venus retrograde, it's going to show the cracks. And if the relationship is stable, it may stay. But generally speaking, karmic relationships and cycles do come to an end. And I do see that as a distinct possibility. If you're embodying it and you're saying to yourself, well, they're going to be there forever, it is something to do with your belief systems. You're actually embedding your twin flame path. So be very mindful of your thought processes because it can directly impact your union. Okay, there has been a lot of fear to do with union. And it's funny because 90% of the trends will want union, right? But there isn't the honesty of it. At times, it is a risk. Okay, so at times we do look at maybe the heartbreaks and the things that we go through, and then come down to the core and say, okay, can you do another circus run? Can you do another a circuit with this? Do you give it another shot? And there is some sense of risk involved, and there can be some fear-based frequency that is there. I do think both parties there have acknowledged the fact that they have been a runner in their life at points in time. They directly do know that it is pointless running because there is a desire to be together. There could also, for a group of you, be situations to do with children involved that do crop up this week. It could be children, it could be family. Um, I also feel divine masculine does feel that you are the innocent in this, but I do feel divine feminine has evolved quite a bit, and is not the innocent. I wouldn't say innocent. You are, but you're not naive. I don't believe. I'd say 80% of the divine feminines in the first wave. I would say I wouldn't pick them as naive. I would pick them as quite um, open-minded, but not naive. You've been there, done that. Okay, so I'm seeing a family-related dynamic coming up. I do feel the desire. I do feel divine masculine has the desire to reunite with divine feminine. I do feel some, regardless of being in a karmic relationship or not, are going to reach out and want to communicate with you. It does feel quite urgent. They may try to hide something, but it's going to be very hard for them. I also get that they are sending mixed signals. So some may be stating that they're wanting this to be purely platonic, but I am saying that they're also feeling that they can't, that you can read them. Okay, I really get that you can read them. Okay, old situations, they're also making reference to the fact that old situations aren't binding them the way they used to. They are looking at those circumstances very differently. Some of the things that you believe they needed are very different now. I'm hearing the term less is more. I do feel some of you are gonna hear gossip through the grapevine. I also feel some are directly snooping on divine feminine. If gossip is going around about divine feminine, they're not believing it. I do feel there's some naysayers. I feel like there are some people around them that had issues with you in the past. That's just their value systems as far as they're concerned, and they're really paying it none. Yeah, they're paying it. It's not swaying them. They still are very firmly looking at this. They're not listening to it. They're sort of like, "Look, I have my own opinion. I have my own values." There is this notion and this desire to actually marry you, and I feel it's quite firm here, especially with the priest involved in the situation. This could be engagements. They directly are looking at the future. It's sort of like, what would the word be? Long-term view. Yeah, definitely. Their concern is now that they want it's like comparing, the runner becoming the chaser and the chaser becoming the runner. You can actually stop that pattern, and if you do, it directly stops inside the twin flame path. If there is a circumstance that you're avoiding in your life and you feel that you'd rather run from it at this point, really look at that because it can really aid the union phase coming in. Okay, there's a lot of chemistry here. Some of you are really firm on, you're just really hoping things can wrap up so it's tidy, so it's neat, so you can proceed forward. But again, I do see a very old situation cropping up, and I do think it's something that's been going on for a while that is ready to come to a head. I am getting that there can be some stresses surrounding divine masculine where it does come to their employment. I also feel they're having a lot more courage. Some of them can be surprising you. They're also saying if a moment of silence goes by, don't panic because I do, especially for those of you that are already in communication, I do feel some of them got a bit run down. Some of them potentially had a hard night. I do feel for some reason divine feminine very surprised. You're going to be put in a powerful position in this circumstance, and it's almost like the mic is being handed to you. Um, what I see is there's a potential you could really personalise this, but you can actually turn this in your favour. So take it how it lands, but I do believe the circumstance, maybe that makes the situation a little bit messy. Some reason my guide's saying it's really going to go in your favour. So um, don't think it's over. Actually, use your power. Because I do think you're going to have buying power. You're going to have staying power. It feels like the you're going to be in a winning position. That's really what they're saying to me. For some reason, due to the circumstance, you're going to be in a winning position to ask what you want, to have what you want. And I do feel for some reason you're in the power state. That's what they're saying. Let's have a look at how feminine is taking this. It's something that's irritating you guys, though. But there is frequency of this person coming from the past. Most of you have had no communication. You could also be looking at this, and as you do decide to enter into another connection, or somebody's trying to communicate with you, I do feel your twins picking up on it. So, do we want to go into the feminines or the masculines first? Happy say, or I'll pick for me. I'll pick for you. I'll pick for you. I asked the book to give me a ruin cast for the outcome, and it's to do with Venus. I'm telling you, divine feminine's in the winning seat at this point. I have no idea why. It's just what my guides told me. So we're just gonna accept what they're showing. Okay, I'm doing a countdown. Five, four, three. All the single ladies. Hey, So should we do the feminine side first, or do we do the masculine? Because the joint connection, I feel, if you had only just shown up, you'll have to listen to this after. The joint connections there. I do feel there's both parties trying to get back on track. Are we going the feminine, or are we going the masculine? Read the rune cards while you're deciding. So the outcome card is relating to Venus, but I do think it's something to do with feminine. I feel feminine is going through a change. Like I said, your crowning energy, being at a five, there is a lot of changes that you guys are directly going through. Some of you are wanting to change jobs, some of you are wanting to change the way you're dealing with your wounds and your courage and these things that you're tidying up, right? There's things that you're trying to spiritually address. And there could be some cobwebs from your mind, from your pain body experience that you're dealing with. Don't be cross with yourself if it's taking a while. It is okay to have a revelation that something hasn't been resolved. Sweet. Don't be hard on yourself. It's perfectly normal. Okay? And especially if you're saying to yourself, well, why haven't I got my crap together yet? It's okay. Just if it's not and it's cropping up, just address it as it comes. Address those things. But I do feel you feel quite conflicted by this. You feel you've been through the ringer. You're quite tired. You're bouncing back up. You're kind of getting tired of that. Some of you are breaking that cycle. This would be a really good time this month is to do karmic cord cuttings. But you really have to be at that vibration that you directly are saying, look, this person has no power over me, has no power over the twin flame path, has no power over my life force, and I need to cut this off and not think about them anymore. So by cutting that cord and actually doing those cord cutting ceremonies, it's really going to help you open that new chapter. And I do feel over the next 4 days it can be a little bit emotional, especially because we do have the moon in Cancer. So be aware of that. Use baths. Try to not get moody with people. It's probably going to be a bit hard for that not to happen, but definitely I can see some inklings of changes. Also, don't look at the fact that you need to fix this situation with your twin flame path. It naturally does resolve itself. I do feel if you're needing to create boundaries, it's okay to do such. You can have some empathy for something maybe that they're going through this week, but also if it does mean that you're stepping back for just a moment and you're saying to yourself, okay, what are those things that I need to address at this point? Because you have learned a lot. You have come an awful long way from where you used to be. And you're really getting to the space that you try not to carry other people's crap because there's only so much you can do. Right? Yeah. Yeah, you're being more realistic about what you're giving, how much you're giving. I wouldn't say cut everything off and cut everyone out. Although we can get to that through the ascension path, through following your twin flame path, you're trying to give less to get more. Some of you simply are choosing to do that. You're really trying to go with the flow. Some of you could be doing this from more a codependent point of view, um, a tactical point of view that if you play your cards right, things will go in your favour. I do feel those of you that have been having issues with wealth, I do think that's changing. Some of you could be looking at new jobs, you could be looking at different ways to do budgets. I definitely see a lump sum coming in. Again, it's not financial advice, it's psychic tarot. But I do feel if you're putting hard yards, and I do feel a lot of you also are going to get a big lump sum. This person is really dreaming about you quite a bit. I do know that you guys may be quite focused in your creativity and all the rest of it, but I also feel a very strong presence surrounding you. Could that mean that other people are coming in simultaneously? Generally, it's a very synchronistic sign. If you're having people coming out of the woodwork, A, yes, it can be because Venus is retrograding, but B is usually because as you become open and you have moved into attachment, you'll get both your twin and a new individual coming into your life at that point in time. So it's quite a sign for that to be happening. I do feel they're very regretful. I do feel, okay, divine feminine. What are you worried about here? Some of you may have this instance this month, and I'm mentioning this month, not just this week, because it can travel through. where you directly may want to move forward with another individual for some, but I'm being shown, it's almost even if that's something that enters your mind for a moment, kind of got in the back of your head, you poured all of your juice into one cup, and it kind of feels a waste. Some of you are feeling it will be a waste. You're being very strict on yourself. Okay. Some of you are going to be addressing a very separate subject. This can be something that's been quite tedious in your life that you're trying to address, and you've been holding on for a while, but you feel it's outgrown the cycle. I don't think this is in relationship to you, divine masculine. I feel this is a separate situation. Some of you are going to bump into a child that is related to your twin. Some of you could be a direct family member. I also feel this could be a friend actually saying that they thought you were the best one. I do feel some of you are going to have it's like they're entering into your dream state. I'm telling you, it came up in the joint connection. It's come up in yours. They are thinking about you. It's almost like the less they have of you, the more they want. And it's coming through very strongly this week. Yeah, it's almost like they can't get you out of my head. I don't know. Yeah, they're having troubles not thinking about you. They're trying to, but it's obsessively. They don't know how to articulate how they're feeling. They don't know how to articulate what's going on with them. They're trying to be realistic, but I think they're in their monkey mind with this. I think they're overthinking it. It could be to do with insecurities relating to karmics in previous years. So if they explain it to you, it won't be understood. They might be punished for it. Um, but they do want to articulate what is going on. They do want to open up to you and talk to you, but there's some apprehension there. They're trying to avoid disaster. There has been a delay with certain things. This has been around, I'm going to pull apart around karmic cycles. They could have been trying to bide their time in life. There is a decision that they are making, and it's almost like they already had made the decision. They were biding their time, though. Okay, some of you are wondering why it's so quiet. I also feel there could be a passing in a masculine's life. This could be an anniversary date uh, of a loved one that already had passed over. It could be a new situation. They have somebody very toxic around them. You can do remote healing on this individual, but you must have your aura correct before you do it. I do feel there could be somebody who's very jealous around them, somebody who's very controlling. They do feel like they're putting a bit of juju on. It is making them tired and run down. They're trying to block the journey. They could also be seeking counsel with a professional. This could be a lawyer, it could be a counsellor. This could be somebody that they very strongly trust. Also feel there's a potential some of them could be communicating with you in confidence. And again, I do feel it's the cat's coming out of the bag. It's like there is a change in direction here. There's a change in approach, and they're trying to do it. It's almost like creeping out in the dark, but I feel they're trying to do it for the safety of all involved. Yeah, this can be through believing a karmic cycle, and also really opening up to having a relationship again, so that um, just not with the karmic. That's what I'm hearing, not with karmic. I feel once a person goes through a karmic cycle, it's almost like they can smell it, they can sense it, they can feel the manipulation, they can feel the energy, and it's just really unattractive. Point blank zero. Mhm. Mm. Somebody has manipulated to the point that this person, um, they are they are very superstitious to do with karma. I do feel divine masculine is very superstitious to do with karma. They are aware there's gonna be a consequence for choosing a new path. They do feel that what they're dealing with is, very stressful. We do have the Devil card. This is a karmic cycle breaking off. This is the confidence to stick up for what their needs are. Again, this karmic does not have to be a romantic partner. This could be a colleague, it could be a family-related dynamic, but there is a circumstance that they're actually addressing and coming to terms with. I'm hearing the term 3, so it feels like 3 days. Honestly, this energy is really heavy. I get this feeling that somebody's helping them out, somebody's getting them out of this circumstance. Let me get another deck. It's very strong here. It's almost like somebody's helping them creep out in the dark, if you know what I mean. Quite bizarre. They've told somebody. Somebody close to them. They've told somebody. This again, next 3 days. Feels- That's too. That's too many. I'm telling you, that's too many confirmations. Cancer, moon in Cancer. Where's the other one? Yeah, all these moon cards coming up. Divine masculine. I'm telling you, it's near the moon. It's to do with this. It's a choice between family and home, moving homes, moving jobs, tapping into their emotions. This is something really big. This is very significant, especially with North Node and Aries, especially with Mars there. Tell me the detail. Give me the honesty. I feel they're coming transparent to you. I do feel something is coming to a head. I definitely feel you may psychically pick up on it, especially because you have medicine bag and the Five of Wands. I feel your energy is going to pick up on it. So you need to look after your aura because if this is going down here, you're going to pick up on it. Love and light. I will see you next week for the live. If I do give you guys an update, you'll know I'm here. If you're having sleepless nights, great time to actually use your tumbler. You can use um, your baths. It's the best time for a new moon to infuse. But if you do feel a bit icky, do the salt today. Do the infusions tomorrow with your aromatics, with your oils, with your crystals. Okay. If you are getting psychic attacks, you can use turmalin and onyx. I would try and avoid the amethyst if your crown chakra is open too much. You may want to smudge your head and have your showers. Um, and those crystals can help you, but you'll need to clear them. Also, I would say from the 16th through till about 18th, go easy on yourself. You could be pretty moody. It's not over. Venus is about revisiting these things. I'm very firmly seeing these things are going to go in our favour. It's okay to change. If you need to make a decision and you have to make it, don't think it's knocking you off your path. It's absolutely not. Have faith in that. If you need coaching, come through or the super chats, or you also can come through and join the members and we talk that daily. We've got the website as well. So take care, ask questions on here. I do jump back and read all your comments and I can respond to any of you to do with a situation you got on the path. Okay? Take care, gorgeous.